What is up, peeps? Welcome back to more CS news. The CS community in uproar over IEM Rio these past few days over something that to some might seem menial, to others might seem pretty dramatic, as NAVI received both praise and backlash for a decision of not actually shaking hands with Virtus.pro post-match at IEM Rio. This was actually going viral over on Twitter. Tons of different responses on this, and of course the assumption being that Virtus.pro's organization, being Russian government-backed, the ongoing war of Russia invading Ukraine and those ongoing atrocities has maybe led to the Ukrainian team of NAVI not to shake their hands post-match. But here is the original clip.
It's a bit scary on Ancient NAVI. They weather the storm. JL a big reason for that. And it's interesting to see how Imet and JL both just having a map pop off.
Oh, conversation being had there from NAVI at the end of the game. It doesn't look like smiles on the face, maybe already addressing some of those mistakes.
Yeah, it looks like a post-mortem.
And I thought this was interesting, despite what you think about this. For me personally, when it comes to attaching counterstrike players to the crazy deplorable actions of the country behind them, I don't necessarily always find that to be fair. I don't know who made that call. It also is interesting because previously these teams have shared handshakes and knuckles. I think it was actually back to last spring where there was seemingly no issue then. Although on the flip side, do I think this is actually that big of a deal? At the end of the day, probably not.
All know what happened there. Sure, VP made this map a little bit more competitive, but NAVI through and through Machu, well-deserved spot in the grand finals tomorrow versus none other than Team Spirit.
You're absolutely right. And the fact that this second map was competitive only makes that victory that much more deserved for NAVI. Because you might be looking at map one and say this was a flow state opportunity. It was just a one time. Don't worry about it. VP's going to come back into this. No. Even when things got a little bit more close, NAVI displayed such good decision making on.
As in, am I going to sit here and blame NAVI for not wanting to show that kind of presence on social media? I don't think I can necessarily do that. I was surprised to see this take off the way it did, and other people showing before the match. So the first clip we showed you was actually post-match. There was also an instance before the match where JL was apparently giving out fist bumps and was apparently called off, like, hey man, like, and I can't tell. This is an assumption, right? But he's going over fist bumps as a typical JL fashion, good luck before the game, and then seemingly was called off of like, oh, we're deciding not to do that. So the question being like, whose decision was that for Rio of all events not to give those handshakes to Virtus.pro now when they previously had?
Take your hands and take your places. Go ahead. Eu quero saber de vocês. Vocês estão preparados?
And at the end of the day, I think these players are probably all friends. I'm not going to take too much from this, and to each their own decision of not wanting to support. And if they see those handshakes as a term of support in some way, shape, or form, and then it's their choice not to do so. I know a lot of people. Some were giving NAVI flack for this, saying, hey, like these players got nothing to do with the ongoing war, which we can all agree with. But others giving them praise, saying, hey, W NAVI, until this war stops, don't be showing that kind of thing publicly. And yeah, I can't possibly have a mattered opinion on such a crazy topic, right? If these players want to do this kind of stuff, then so be it. The ongoing war is clearly a horrible thing, and so if this be their decision, we'll see if they continue to maintain it going forward. But I am curious what you guys thought about all of this. At the end of the day, handshakes not mattering to NAVI as they go on to win IEM Rio. Like we discussed last video, 6 straight grand finals, 4 titles for 2024. An incredible feat so far this year. And are they done? Are they done? Because we have so many events still left. It's actually crazy. Per usual, hope you guys all enjoy. Stay hydrated. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Take care.